You're going to need for this project a pair of scissors. These are nice, lightweight Fiskars scissors and the ones that I like the most. Make sure that they're only used on fabric so they're nice and sharp. You also want a seam ripper, a washable marker, some thread snippers, and you'd like to use some clips. Alright, so here's our panel. We're going to get this cut out. Take it slow and cut the items out outside of the line. Is probably better than cutting it out on the inside of the line. Now that you have it all cut out, take your 4 rectangle pieces and lay them on top of each other and clip them together. You'll find a little mark on the right side of the fabric, and that will show you how far in you need to stitch. If you'd like, you could draw a line, and that could help you know exactly where to stitch. You could draw a line all the way down here with the ruler on both sides. And mark it out and stitch right along that line. Now you're ready to sew. Take this to your machine. But first, before you start stitching, make sure that your machine is correctly threaded. Make sure to put your presser foot down and your needle down before you start stitching. This way your threads will behave. After you finish sewing, grab a pair of scissors and trim your edges. You don't need all that extra fabric, so just cut it off. But be careful not to cut the stitching line. Now find a safety pin if you can. It'll be helpful for this next part, but you can totally do it with just your fingers as well. But if you have a safety pin, pierce it through one side of the fabric and then use that safety pin to guide it through the center and pull your fabric inside out so that the pretty side is on the outside. Watch as she does this. You can see here how she's using the safety pin to push it through the center and guiding it with her fingers and her thumb to push it along to then be able to turn it inside out and turn it out the other way. This might take a little time, but if you are patient and wiggle it along, you will be able to do this. Once you have this all turned around, repeat to the other side. In the end, you'll have 2. Now take them to the iron and give them a good press. One of your parents could help you with this, or an adult if you haven't done this before. Next, take the rectangles and fold them in half. Then lay them going downwards right on the marks of one of your panel sides. It's now time to make a little sandwich. So you're going to take the other side of the banner and place it on top of your rectangles and clip that all together. Now you're ready to stitch this all together. So take it to your machine. Make sure that your threads are between the toes of the presser foot and to the back of the machine, and that you put your presser foot down and put your needle down before you start stitching. That way your threads will behave. You're going to stitch all the way around, but at the top of the banner, make sure you leave an opening so that you're able to put your hand through and flip this around. You'll find 2 marks at the top of each banner that will be a guide for you to know where to start and stop stitching. When you come to a corner, put your needle down, lift your presser foot, and turn your fabric in the new direction you want to go. Once you have sewn all the way around, stop your machine, lift your presser foot, and pull your fabric out and cut your threads. Now carefully trim all the threads on your project so that it looks nice and clean. We are almost done, but first, grab a pair of scissors and trim each corner off. We don't need this extra fabric, and it will make it a lot nicer when we turn it around. Now find your opening, reach your hand in, and reach for the farthest corner, pinch it, and pull it through the hole to flip this around. Now that you have it turned inside out, roll out the edges and turn all the corners out the best you can. I find it helpful to grab my safety pin and use it to pull out the corner a little bit farther to get that perfect point. Now find your opening and turn in the edges of your fabric. You can either sew this by hand or take it to the sewing machine and stitch all the way around your banner, giving it a nice top stitch and also closing up that hole. Remember, press your foot down, needle down, and do a little back stitch before you start stitching all the way around. Now you are done, and it's time for the final touches. Just trim all your threads and make your project look nice and clean. Now you can take an iron and press this all flat. Have a parent or someone help you with this part if you've never used an iron before. Now you can add your ribbon and wooden dowel, and you are done.